So before I get started, I just want to say this right up front. This is a rumour. This is not confirmed in any way, but there is some evidence pointing towards this, which I think you can't really ignore, and I wanted to talk about it. So the BBC and Warner Brothers are planning some sort of big production at Leavesden Studios, which is a big film studios that has had lots of high profile and big budget films there, such as GoldenEye, and I think some of the Star Wars films were filmed there, and I think that like the Game of Thrones spin-off or something is filming there as well. So this is a studio for big productions. The rumour is that this is in fact a Doctor Who film and or TV series, which, and I don't like the sound of this bit, possibly an entire reboot for the whole thing. This has kind of got alarm bells ringing because Doctor Who does never ever need to be rebooted, in my opinion. If you just want to distance yourself from what came before, then you just have a new era of the show. You don't need to then reboot the entire thing. Doctor Who is a unique show where that never needs to happen. Of course, the term reboot could just refer to a sort of reinvention of the show, so it's still connected to the past, but kind of like 2005, that wasn't a reboot, it was a revival, a reinvention, but it felt fundamentally different to what came before. It could mean reboot in the sense of that. You could even argue that The Woman Who Fell to Earth and something like The 11th Hour are a reboot of the show, sort of. So what has made me not just pass this off as a random, completely false rumour, which I was originally going to? Well, it's just the fact that if you sit down and think about it, what else could they be filming there? Obviously, Leavesden Studios is for big productions, and a Doctor Who film would be classed as a big production. You also have the fact that there's a deal with HBO so that new series of the show go on HBO Max, and HBO Max is the primary streaming service for Warner Brothers, who the BBC are doing this shoot with. And all the other BBC programmes, I think, would have been big enough to warrant a feature film, all have partnerships with different countries like Netflix, so would most likely, if they were doing films, be partnering with them to do them, not Warner Brothers. So, what do I think of all this? Would I like a Doctor Who film? And the honest answer to that is yes, as long as it doesn't impact the TV series at all and the TV series keeps on going. I think it'd be quite a good idea because at the moment we don't get a series consistently every year anymore, which is kind of a shame. But it would be really interesting if in a gap year for a series they produced a Doctor Who film to keep us Doctor Who fans happy and to have a big level of hype up for something Doctor Who. And I think having a feature film starring the current TV Doctor whilst there is a gap year would be a really good idea, and I would really enjoy something like that. I also wouldn't be opposed to if they just did films with past Doctors or crossovers of past Doctors. For example, the BBC would probably push for them to do a David Tennant film, and that would be separate from the TV series but still in the same continuity, and I wouldn't be opposed for them to doing something like that. Something I don't think would work well, but I wouldn't exactly be against, was if they had their own set of Doctors for the films which was separate from the TV series. So the TV series kept on going, doing its own thing, and then you had the films set in like an alternate universe or something with an alternate Doctor, kind of like the Peter Cushing films. But yeah, if the films had their own different set of Doctors and things, I don't think that would work particularly well, but I would much rather prefer that than it just rebooting the entire thing and affecting the TV series. Of course, the BBC could use this as an opportunity to try and rebrand Doctor Who, if that makes sense, and get it a much bigger audience and get the general audience interested again by having this new Doctor's first adventure be a feature film, and then make it so that the next series featuring that Doctor is very accessible, so all the people who did watch the film can then just hop in that series and not need to understand much of what came before, and it would very much increase Doctor Who's audience. I wouldn't be opposed to that idea either, but like I said, I would be opposed to if it was a full-on reboot which led into its own reboot TV series or something like that, or just a series of reboot films. You don't need to reboot Doctor Who. Doctor Who at its core is such a unique TV show that requires no reboot, because the Doctor, the entire supporting cast, the sonic screwdriver, the set of the TARDIS, the entire title sequence change every sort of 3 or 4, maybe 5 years. But what do you think about this? This is a very strange one. Would you like a Doctor Who film? Would you be opposed to them doing a reboot in this Doctor Who film? Would you like to see the current Doctor star in this Doctor Who film? Or do you think this is even a Doctor Who film in the first place? Whatever you think, I've been Cyberman Alf, and from me for now, it's goodbye.